Welcome to No More Mondays, the podcast that helps you navigate career challenges through the wisdom of professionals who have been at the same crossroads. I'm your host, Angie Callen, and I welcome you to join me each week as I chat with leaders, entrepreneurs, and employees who are here to share their practical, tactical advice and some inspiration on how they arrived at career and life satisfaction. From job searching and career changes to going out on your own, we are breaking down barriers and providing actionable takeaways to help you take charge of your Mondays and ditch those Sunday blues. Welcome to No More Mondays. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of No More Mondays. I am your host, Angie Callen, and one of the best things about having a podcast is going through your Rolodex and bringing in blasts from the past to the show. And that is just one of the very many reasons I can't wait to introduce you to Ben Daniele. Ben is the founder of Scatter Brothers Productions, which is a full-service commercial video, TV, and motion picture production company who is doing some super cool things, even cooler than I knew going into this based on our pre-roll conversation, in the world of content creation, original film production, and VR technology. And I met Ben when he was a greenhorn in the industry, and I can't wait to dig in and hear all of the amazing things that happened over the last 13 years since we first met. So everybody out there, let's welcome Ben Daniele to the show. Benny, welcome to No More Mondays.
Hey guys, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. Angie, blast from the past.
I know. So I have to bring everybody kind of full speed. I met Ben in 2009. I was volunteering for the Breckenridge Film Festival in the couple years I lived in Breckenridge. And Ben had a submission called Pocket Full of Gold. And I was his filmmaker liaison, which basically meant we just whooped it up all weekend and we had so much fun together. And now we're going to catch up on what's been happening in the last 13 years. So, and we have some little exciting announcement about what's progressed with Pocket Full of Gold all these years later. But let's leave everybody in suspense and just let's give everybody some context about you and what you're doing at Scatter Brothers. So give us your elevator pitch.
Guys, thanks for having me. What an honor and a full circle here. Yeah, so basically we met you as young, eager, out of college filmmakers who had done pretty well on this little short film, Pocket Full of Gold, and Breckenridge Film Festival. I've always wanted to go to Breckenridge. My buddy Eric and I produced the movie, and we really gave our all to it. And he's like, Ben, looks like we got in. Let's go. So we took some of the budget and we came to Breck, and we were greeted immediately at the filmmakers table by you. And Angie, you were like the coolest, chillest, like Colorado chick. And you know,
I was even new to Colorado then.
I know. You're like, guys, you got to check out this pasta restaurant. I think it was called Rasta
Was it Rasta Pasta?
Rasta
Holy cow,
Pasta.
your memory is amazing. Well, and also we should note that the two of you come in from Florida, and I think it was like October, and it freaking snowed all weekend.
Yes, it did. So we get there, we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're geeking out. We're super excited. And then you just basically took these two remarkable nerds all around the city, and we're like showing us the cool culture. You and your friends took us out. And then, of course, then we got to the actual seriousness of the film festival, which was, guys, let's focus. You've got to represent your film. And it was just the launching point for Eric and I and Doug and Scatter Brothers, our company. I mean, it was really one of those points in time where we can say, oh, my gosh, this was our beginning. And to see that particular film of all the other projects, that one particular and the essence and the serendipity of even seeing and talking to you in light of our current situation with that film is pretty remarkable.
Which now we have to bring everybody in on the secret, because this is like the timing of this is so fortuitous, because literally this was 13 and a half years ago. And before we started rolling, Ben and I were I couldn't remember the name of the film. And I was like, what was the name of the film? And he tells me, and then fills me in on the latest development on that project from 13 years ago. Tell everybody what's happening.
Yeah, so fast forward 13 years, Doug and I have really been plugging along. We've been building our company here in the Southeast U.S. We worked on a lot of movies, a lot of TV, done our big bread and butter is commercials. We've done about 1,000 commercials, and love commercials. It's kind of the grit of storytelling for us. But our whole goal has always been to develop films. That's where the that's where the bread and butter is for those long 2 to 3 month contracts, which everybody loves. So that's been always on our horizon. And these past few years, we've really stepped up our game in feature film development. And lo and behold, Doug and I got an email from one of the writers that we worked with around 2008, 9, and 10, the writer of Pocket Full of Gold. Jeremy Robinson calls and says, "Hey, guess what, guys? An actor, can't say the first name, last name Franco, can't say anything else, had his sights
Maybe
on,
is in some Spider-Man movies and other things.
could be, not going to say anything else. But bottom line is he calls and says, guys, it's available. Would you be interested in reuniting on this script? And so we said, you know what, let us sit on this. Let us consider it. Let us read it. So we read it, and he's rewritten it many times. It's been passed around Hollywood quite a bit. It's been rewritten by phenomenal writers who touched it. And we're honestly paid quite a bit of money to rewrite it. So we're getting a script that is many years evolved, more valuable, easier to produce. It's incredible. And so we convinced our team of investors to go in on it with us. And I think we're going to, God willing, if the stars align, we're going to be in production in Atlanta on the movie. And hopefully, if we're still on horizon, that we have one of the biggest reps from Universal Pictures who's going to be distributing the movie for us. So we're really pumped about that.
So the message there is you just never know. After all that time thinking, oh, we did this thing, because it was a short in the Breck Film Festival, kind of as a teaser for the full-length feature. And just who knew that all these years later, all of a sudden, an A-lister, like very, name recognition celebrity is going to be like, hey, let's make this into a movie. It's amazing.
Oh, my God.
Can I come to the
so
premiere?
It's so amazing, Angie. I promise I will have 2 tickets for you to the premiere.
I love it. You notice how I dropped that
right.
question on a recorded podcast where there's evidence of it. So
you will have 2 VIP tickets, I promise.
We will be there with bells on. I'm going to start shopping for a dress now. It's so cool. This is also what's so neat about like reconnecting with people that you've just like, because we've been on like connected on Facebook for all of these years, and you just kind of track and see, what everybody's doing, but had no idea that 1,000 commercials and a potential gig with Universal is actually amazing. What is it like to be part of this kind of really competitive, fast-paced, exciting industry? You've been able to figure out how to be successful in it. What's it like? What's your secret?
That's thank you so much for saying that. That's a great question. So, I mean, obviously when I graduated from college, I had this broad, huge scope dream. Oh, I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to make movies. I'm going to be a director, show up to LA, make me famous.
Or make me poor, one of the two.
Right. But, I learned that that filmmaking, just like any other startup, is entrepreneurial. You have to learn the art of entrepreneurialism. And so for me, I brought this distinct fervor to bring a business side to a production company. And then I met my business partner on a movie. We were both working on an independent feature after college, and we both met, and we felt such a synergy between us. We said, hey, would you ever be interested, fast forward a couple of years, if we could ever go into business together, start a business, maybe in LA or here, whatever, in Florida. And so now fast forward, he is my 50-50 business partner. He and I have been in business for 10 years. And what our focus is on how to entrepreneurialize, how to make this art that we love to make money. Like, how do you make money doing it? And it's very, like you said, it's exciting. There's an air of mystery to it, particularly when you start involving celebrities and this part of the product that involves famous recognition that you need as a filmmaker, that you need as a marketer. But it's so unfamiliar to the modern world. You freak out. Oh my God, there's, James Franco. And then you realize that, man, I got to get him for another day on my freaking commercial. Can we get him to stick around for another few hours? Things become pretty pragmatic in the production world. And it all goes back to entrepreneurialism. How can you sell these things and these products that are very realistic and pragmatic? And we watch them every day.
I could not have, these are things that I did, I could not have planned this conversation better, and I did not. Like, literally, this was, Benny, you want to be on the podcast? Yeah, let's schedule it and go through 24 minutes of a tech cluster to make it start happening. And now we're just like talking, but it's so awesome because I love the idea of that the idea of entrepreneurializing. How's that for a mouthful? Yeah. Something that oftentimes isn't treated as a business. And what's so cool about this is that's how I look at like the coaching world is if a lot of coaches just want to coach. A lot of producers and movie makers just want to make movies. But at some point you have to think about if you're going to go out on your own, really embracing those things and the business of becomes really, really important. And so I love that idea of like, okay, this is cool. How do I keep this guy on set for 10 more minutes without blowing my budget? Or where's the next project coming from? So as you've brought that perspective to this, this industry and your unique way of doing business, I'm wondering like what kind of challenges have you come up against, and like where have you really had to work through and have that like grit factor? Yeah,
I got to tell you something. Challenges for our business happen on a day-by-day basis, and some of the bigger challenges that seem to distract us the most and deter us the most, and that we always have to fight through the most, typically have to do with either financial stresses, where there's not maybe enough a budget to match what the expectations of the project are, or the client will not pay on time. So financial stresses sometimes distract us, challenge us. And I think that is on such a broad stroke to such a bigger point that I'm giving to it. Even 2020 caused a massive financial crisis, right? Where's the gasoline in the engine? How are we going to fuel our sales? Where is the business? And those were major challenges, and they're challenges on a day-by-day basis. How do you overcome them? This sounds so stupid and cliche. How do you overcome the challenge, particularly of not being sure that the finances will be there when you need them to be? Number one, for us, make use of the downtime. On the days when we're not working and we're like, okay, where's the gig? Where's the job? We will be writing and creating and producing a film that is intended to be released on an independent circuit, or we'll be creating some sort of a social event that will benefit our community, or we'll be able to raise sponsorship to give back to a certain organization. Stay busy. And I think that's the first lesson that we teach everybody who comes through our doors is whether you're busy or not, just stay busy.
There's always something productive to do.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep digging. And people get stuck, I think, and particularly when finances and the business isn't coming in, that they forget that, okay, that's your cue. That's when you need to go to work the hardest. I'm going to hustle for the sales. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to work my butt off in these downtimes when things are uncertain,
I have a feeling you've probably read Think and Grow Rich, because there's this, love it. I call it the entrepreneurial mind bleep, can't say it, family rated show. I'll be totally transparent. 4.5 years into a successful coaching business, and I still am like, oh my gosh, when's the next invoice going to get paid? Why do I have so much AR? But you have to, but if you ride those waves and you just really are too overly in tune with the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows, you will burn yourself out and you will jump off this train faster than you got on. You got to find that consistent baseline through that ups and downs.
That's a really very good point, Angie. And something that I've learned that has helped me to calm down and stay ahead of things is to genuinely stay ahead of things, to keep on a budget. Like, for instance, for our company, we do a forecast budget, which is a 3 to 6 month projected analysis that we run off of. And I'll tell you, when we made that decision to start thinking 3 to 6 months ahead, the pressure became so much easier on us day to day. And those months in late 2020 where we were stressed, the stress seems so much different now. And we're managing things very, very differently. So thinking ahead was a big step for us to alleviate a lot of those stresses and obstacles, the day-to-day obstacles, And Angie, can I share something else with you? Another major obstacle, and I feel like this is something that a lot of people in my industry particularly go through, and that is this feeling of disillusionment in our industry, particularly in marketing, in film and television. For some reason, there's this notion that fame is associated with success. And that's not true. It can't even be further from the truth. Fame can happen for any reason at any point in time. It can happen because of outstanding public relations like the Kardashians, or it can happen because of crazy TikTok isms. You know what I mean?
Somebody and it can happen for like bad reasons too. No press is bad press. I 100%
so
agree.
True.
And those people, like famous people, deal with stuff too.
Oh my God!
Not to go down that road, but I think that you're 100% right. Keep talking about this disillusionment piece.
Yeah, so people give up on Hollywood. Oh, I haven't made it. Well, what is your perception of making it? If you're looking for fame, there's got to be a billion reasons there's got to be a billion ways that you can pursue that. But you've got to be funded, and you've got to have a lot of momentum and dedication, commitment. Like Steve-O, I think of Steve-O. He's this kid in high school. He said, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. All I'm going to do is submit these stunts. And he got more and more elaborate with these stunts. And finally, the jackass caught attention and said, oh my God, this kid's nuts. We need him.
And they just made a new one.
They just made a new one. The guy is a franchise legend. But again, he had a mission. I want to be famous. For me, I want to be a producer. And for me, consistency of work equals success. And for me and my team, consistency of work. If we are working in our craft, doing what we love every day, full time, we made it, and we just got to keep going. And so I think that's a big disillusionment is to actors out there, directors, writers, people who really are passionate about producing content, podcasters. Don't give up. Don't be disillusioned by these lies and these things that we all pay for every day. That's part of it. That's part of what you're in, man. You're part of the commercialism.
And don't sell yourself short on the successes that you have achieved. And I dog social media a lot, even though I use it, but that also hasn't helped the whole disillusionment factor, because we're all, I feel like all of us, even whether you're trying to make a blockbuster film or just trying to get by in life, are kind of susceptible to the perception of perfection that social media provides. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about here from an industry perspective, is that don't be disillusioned that just because you haven't reached James Franco name recognition, household name status, that you aren't successful.
Right.
One of the cliche, I'll give you a cliche back. That idea of like, don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle or end.
Wow. That's great. That's great.
And just recognizing where you're at and being grateful for that, because there's always room to grow and build upon that. But you have to be really honest about what your goals are and are not.
I agree with you. And I think there's also an element of organic behavior that you have to recognize. For instance, overcoming challenges and obstacles in my industry. I've seen many of my friends and colleagues get fixated on one project. For 10 to 15 to 20 years, they're fixated on this one project. I see them post about it over and over and over, and I love it. But at the same time, they're not being diverse. They're not being open-minded, and they're not really being organic to what the client wants. Does your industry want? What are you trying to sell? How do you merge the two, your passion versus what they want? And so that's something that I see a lot in my industry, particularly. People get really, really bent on these one ideas instead of diversifying.
Like tunnel visions.
Yeah, and it's hard to do sometimes in a creative environment. I think of Bridezilla's as the best example. A Bridezilla. She has total tunnel vision, right? Her guests are partying. Her guests are having a blast. The groom's having a good time. And she's just got these tunnel visions on these things that she sees not going exactly the way she expected it. She's losing the sense of organic feeling in the moment and the whole point of the party. And I'm like, oh my God, so many of my colleagues do the same thing. We are so fixated on this one movie we can't get made that we're missing the 60 other projects that have been handed to us.
That you could have done in the meantime. And I'll roll that up to a broader kind of anecdote that I tell this to people in their career paths. If you get tunnel vision towards an overly specific career goal, I want to be a COO by the time I'm 45. You might walk right past the door to be a CEO at 40.
Oh, woo. Preach it, girl. Oh.
We're going to solve the world's problems today, Ben. So, okay, there's like all kinds of little good stuff there. So I guess how would you roll all of that into like a piece of advice for people that want to be in this very challenging, hard to break into, hard to succeed in industry? Yeah. Like, how do they get started, or how do they stick it out?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a broad stroke answer, but I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. Is the reasons to stay in this industry are very strong. This is the number one fastest growing, most vivacious industry consistently for the past 50 years. Media, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the opportunities for content. So number one, there is no excuse. There's really very little barriers to entry, and if you want to go into film, television, video, news, media, content creation, podcasting, any type of new media, multimedia, this is the time to do it. There is no better time. So, number one, eliminate your fear to start and get into it. And number two, eliminate the desire or even the thought of quitting. You are in this. You are in this to succeed. You are going to overcome these obstacles. And third, be organic. Be in tune with what's going on around you at every moment. If an idea is not working, change the idea. If a client's not listening, try to re-educate them in a more wholesome, uplifting way. So those three, I hope that helps. It's not too
Oh, that's
verbose.
perfect. I'm a big fan of rule of three, so you get an A+
Wow.
for the day. And I think it's very true that it's in a way, well, and there's also the illusion, but content creation is kind of more accessible than it's ever been because we all walk around with a really nice high quality camera in our pocket all the time.
So true.
However, that
So
also
true.
means everybody thinks they can be a content creator, which is where you have to have that kind of perseverance to push through. And I think the faith in what you're doing, that it's going to work out if you're open and adaptable to the path that you end up on.
My gosh, that's so good, Angie. Do you think, let me ask you a question. Do you think that in your field of podcasting, I mean, there's so many podcasts. It's similar to me. There's so many commercials, so many content creators. How do you push forward and navigate? Because I've always been curious about this. Sorry if I'm going off script.
Betty, I don't let people ask me questions on my own podcast. No, I'm kidding. I think that question pertains to podcasting, but I also think for me specifically, it rolls up to the larger industry of just coaching and career coaching, where, people are always like, oh, it's saturated and all that kind of stuff. And I am of a belief that there is a buyer for everything at every price point. And so from a business perspective, everybody has a unique way of offering what they offer, and that's going to resonate with the people that you want it to resonate with, which I think also comes back to how we approach this podcast. And that is, who and what are we trying to do with it? And how do we make sure that we tell stories and bring guests that align with that and that are going to have real tangible value? And then the really honest answer is we're on a 50-week release sprint in order to grow listenership. But
Awesome.
I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm a big fan of like the marketing theory of niching and knowing exactly who you're trying to reach, who you're not trying to reach, and making sure that you message everything that you do to those groups. And so that way you don't have to worry about getting lost in all the noise. And I think that's true for podcasts. I think that's true for coaching business. And I think that's true for all the other content creators that you're quote unquote competing against in St. Pete's.
Wow, dude, that's really good. Thank you. You're absolutely right. I love how when you went back to your that second reason we're on a 50-week sprint, I think that sometimes is the greatest impetus for some of the best work we've ever done. When we're on a time crunch and we have a deadline and a goal of a certain release, we have never been more sensorially aware, as a team. So I think maybe that's a little 3A is like, put a time limit and go after it. Put a goal, a date on your goal, Done
is better than perfect. And you want to know, I hope all you listeners out there agree that the last however many episodes we've done since deciding to do this very consistent year of releasing have been the best episodes we've ever had. No, this one included, I think. So I think that's really, really true, that when you kind of alleviate yourself of that perfection, or it has to be just right, or I can't start it until it's just right, getting started or completion is sometimes better than agonizing and getting into the, analysis paralysis that keeps many people from not doing anything. Something's better than nothing.
Absolutely. We had a very distinctive opportunity come to us in February of this year, and Lionsgate Pictures was in our hometown. They're filming a movie, and they didn't have enough producers. So they asked Doug and I, Scatter Brothers, to produce the film. And we wrapped up. It was an amazing movie. We were kind of like, do we want to do it? It's a family feature. It's starring, some pretty noteworthy stars. Some big stars. Sean Astin was in the movie.
Oh yeah. Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy, exactly. Rudy. Sean was the big name in the movie. Here he is. I don't know if you can see all the listeners that cannot, but
nice.
Sean was the lead actor in the film. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because this is this is a family movie. It's a kids movie. It's going to be on my credits. I'm going to be producer on the film. Do I really want to do family movies, kids movies? I don't know. I never thought of myself as, and then we did it and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is something I could see myself doing for the rest of my life.
How would you have ever known?
How would I have ever known? Just do it. Sometimes you just got to do it. Step out of your comfort zone.
Take a shot. I think yes. Step out of your comfort zone and take a shot at something that you might not think is the right, exactly what you had planned, but you just never, that's where that door analogy comes from, that you don't ever know. Like, who knew when I decided to volunteer for the Breck Film Festival 13 years ago that I'd be sitting here with you, up and coming, I'm going to give you that credit, Hollywood, Hollywood producer, basically, with credits on big films with names we know. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You just never ever know.
Yeah.
I feel like
really don't.
We have the coolest advice to offer people, Ben. I'm just gonna say it. This is like this is probably the most, no offense to all those if you come before you. This might be the most fun I've had on No More Mondays to date. And so I think let's have some more fun and play a little game. Ready?
I'm ready. Oh my gosh,
okay.
This is awesome. Okay.
It's called Rapid Fire Recommendations. Don't worry about being succinct because it's never very fast. What is your most you're not allowed to say Breckenridge, but what is your most memorable travel destination?
Oh my gosh. Okay. For me, it was 2012, Barcelona, Spain. My best friend canceled our European backpack trip together. He couldn't make it at the last second because of some stupid reason. And so I was mad at him for like 2 weeks and texting him every day as I was making these friends and meeting people. But I remember it got to Barcelona. And it was just, oh God, I still have friends from this day that I met there and who are from like London and who knows where they're from.
It was just a great global experience. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me one bit that you maintained friends from there.
I know, man. Oh.
Throw out a great book recommendation to the crew out there listening.
This is going to sound ridiculous, and it sounds so like weird, but it's called How to Be a Billionaire. And it's, hold on, I'll get the author. It's been a minute. I read this out of college. I read it about 6 or 7 years ago again. And it was such a good book. Hold on.
These are the kinds of, while you look up the author, and we will link that to show notes, everybody out there. So nomoremondays.info, you can grab the link. How to Be a Billionaire by
Martin Fridson from Harvard. Martin Fridson. It was such a lofty title. And I remember grabbing it. I was like, what is this? And
here's another one of those self-help books.
Here we go. How to Be a Billionaire. But it taught, it's so good. It's about risk. It's about basing it on classic examples of guys who had literally zero, who went from zero to the richest people. It's really an incredible story that's almost like he does it in an anthology style where each billionaire, he's got these different stories and techniques. And I just think it's really inspiring for entrepreneurs.
It's all possible. How to Be a Billionaire. I want to be a billionaire. Mm-hmm. Isn't that I want to be I was like, oh wait, that's a Bruno Mars song. Okay, loaded question considering your line of work, and now I'm going to have 24K Magic stuck in my head all day. Loaded question considering your line of work, favorite movie?
Oh man, this is so hard for me. I'm going to just start with, my favorite interpretive epic had to have been Braveheart. I'll just give one genre. Love this guy. The way, how did you pull off directing and starring and producing? I don't know how he did it. Mel Gibson deserved every single Oscar he got on that. That was one of the finest epic movies I've ever seen.
100%. And it was at a time when a lot of those epics were the Patriot, like all those epics came out, but that one is just
so well
good
done.
choice.
It solidified him as one of the greatest directors of all time.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And are you a podcaster? If you're a podcaster, what do you listen to? What's a good one?
Oh, dude, I've been listening to a movie podcast. My buddy Doug has got me on right now. Hold on. I'm going to give it to you right now. Here it is. How Did This Get Made is the name of it, with Earwolf, Paul Scheer.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, it's so good. Oh,
I think
man,
I think that's an NPR. That's an NPR show. And it's really good. I mean, they do everything from like how did beer get made to, like how did a drone get made? It's super cool.
Yeah. The movies that they do, the bad movies they do, Superman, stuff that you'll see coming out. The bad movies are great. You got to listen to that podcast. And then also there's a podcast here locally, Tampa Film, the film, it's called Film Tampa Bay. They have a great podcast that you want to listen to. And it's Florida-based, Southeast-based, but they are very abreast to what's going on in this area. So really cool stuff.
Part of me feels like I should have asked you what the worst movie of all time is.
Oh, can we say it like
do we go there? Unison? We have to go there. What is it?
It's The Room. It's The Room, the worst movie of all time, yet somehow made it to be, by Tommy Wiseau. Our boy James Franco played it. It was the Disaster Artist was the documentary narrative feature made about it. And it was, The Disaster Artist.
We're going to see a surge of 69 downloads of The Room on Netflix this weekend, because people are going to be like, I got to see why this is the worst movie ever.
It's so good.
Bonus rapid fire question, everybody.
Yeah.
Love it. And of course, this is a show about Mondays. So what is the first word that comes to mind when I say Monday?
Fatigue.
Oh, that's the opposite of what words we usually hear. Tell me why.
It's that drag from the realization that I drank too much Sunday night to
this is why I love Ben Daniele, everyone.
It's like, shoot, I've got an 8 a.m. start. I'm at 7:15. I don't have time for a bagel. I got enough time to slam a coffee on the way.
There you go.
Fatigue, man.
Let's go back to the comment earlier about just being super organic and authentic. Here you have it, for everybody. Fatigue on a Monday morning because you had too much fun on the weekend. We have not had anybody say that yet, and you get extra points for honesty.
Thank you so much.
I love
Thank
it.
You.
So
Thank you.
much to my dismay, we're going to start wrapping things up. I have a feeling it might take us a long time to actually wrap things up, but I want everybody to know that everybody's going to love you because this has just been so fun. I want everybody to know, how can they follow along with you and what Scatter Brothers is doing, and maybe tune into the future, A Pocket Full of Gold. How do we stay in touch with you and your journey?
Thank you so much, Angie. You can follow us on our social media, Scatter Brothers, at Scatter Brothers, spelled out in full. It's like SCATTER.
It's such a great name, by the way. I've always loved it.
Well, we are super excited. It's goofy, it's funny, but we're very serious about what we do. We're scattered really all over the U.S., all over the world. We've got incredible people and people on our team who work there, and very cohesive. So please follow us, www.scatterbrothers.com, at Scatter Brothers on Facebook, Instagram. LinkedIn is a great place to follow us, Scatter Brothers. And also keep an eye out. A couple of movies coming out this summer, late summer. The Pet Detectives from Lionsgate is going to be in theaters nationwide. It's in Germany and Italy right now. So hopefully we'll see it come to fruition here in the States. Three Loud Knocks is another movie that we've got coming out nationwide at the end of the year. And then a documentary we're very excited about. It's called The Jesse Hurd Story, which is coming out at the end of the year as well. So we've got a lot cooking.
This is amazing.
You can follow us. Yeah, it's
I
fun.
love to see people I love like doing amazing things. And we'll be sure to follow along on all of that as well.
Thank you.
You can get everything Ben just said on the show notes. We'll be sure to get kind of all those links and everything. And we'll be sure to also update it as things release. And just that way, people who listen to this over time will be sure to go and watch your productions. And
thank you so much, Andy.
As we really wind down now, sadly, I want to give everybody one last little pearl of wisdom. What's your number one piece of advice on what listeners can do to get closer to career satisfaction?
Have Angie be your directive ambassador at the Breckenridge Film Festival of 2009.
That's a great way to take it home.
That's
love
the formula. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. The last golden nugget is, guys, the last golden nugget is this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm not trying to be cheesy. The more you give, the more you will get. And I mean thinking outside the box. Start looking to serve your community more. Start looking to serve your customers more. Start looking to serve your family members more, and you will naturally grow. There's no stopping it. That's all I got.
I don't need to add to that because that's an amazing piece of advice. So well done. Ben, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of how far you've come in 13 years. It's just so amazing. And I'm so excited that you were willing to come on here and yuck it up on No More Mondays and throughout all the laughs were some awesome, really, really good stuff. So thank you so much for being part of the show and joining the No More Mondays movement, Ben. This has been amazing.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you, Angie. Thank you to the production crew behind the scenes. You guys are the best. And please, we'd love to come back in the future. We really had a great time. Thank you.
I have a feeling there's a 2.0. Don't worry.
Yes.
And until that time, tune in to Ben and everything awesome that Scatter Brothers is doing. We always love hearing from people who have not only successfully navigated career crossroads, but are doing some smart things and probably having some fun along the way. And for all of you out there listening, I would love for you to subscribe to No More Mondays wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating because Ben and I are amazing. Hello. Woo. And because we want to bring you more amazing stories and great advice that is what is packed into this episode. So if you want to leave us comments, feedback, guest suggestions, or grab all the links and show notes from today's show, hit us up online at nomoremondays.info, and then we'll see you again next week on Wednesday for the next drop. Thanks for joining us for another episode of No More Mondays. Tune in next week as we bring you more insights and actions to help you improve your life and career. Don't forget, visit us online at nomoremondays.info to get all the details, show notes, and recommendation from this episode. No More Mondays. We drop new episodes every Wednesday. No More Mondays is brought to you by Career Benders, Inc. in partnership with executive producer Jane Durkee. For more information about career coaching, resume writing, personal branding, recruiting, and entrepreneurship coaching services, visit us online at careerbenders.com.